Welcome back to Talk Jamaica here on Talk Jamaica Radio. We are streaming live on talkjamaicaradio.com. My name is Ralston Chamberlain. My co-host this afternoon is Sanjay Lewis. Listeners, National Journalism Week is being celebrated from Sunday, November 26th today to Saturday, December 2nd, 2017. The week promises to be another interesting one and engaging series of activities and events. The Press Association of Jamaica continues to engage the public on topical and controversial issues involving the role of the media in society, with the theme for National Journalism Week being Media Accountability in the Digital Age. And so we're joined this afternoon to tell us more about National Journalism Week by the President of the Press Association of Jamaica, Dionne Jackson Miller. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right, tell us, if you could, Mrs. Jackson Miller, about the activities that you have planned for the week.
Well, one of the most significant concerns, the very theme you just mentioned, media accountability, because for the past few years we've had a public forum on the Monday evening of Journalism Week. That's open to the public. We're having it again tomorrow at the Pegasus at 6 p.m. And that's our topic, media accountability. And this actually came out of a very dynamic discussion that we found was taking place around the time of this whole discussion about the gleaners reporting on comments that the Prime Minister had made about the political ombudsman, the OPM taking issue with it, the gleaners standing by their position. And throughout it all, the question a lot of people are saying is, hold on, isn't there anybody who can step in? Who is there who holds you guys to account? I mean, you hold everybody else in society to account. Who holds you to account if we think you've made a mistake? And of course, I'm not here pronouncing on the Gleaner story one way or the other. I'm just making the point that it brought to light an issue that has come up from time to time. A lot of times during political campaigns, we'll have one party or the other say, oh, we're going to report this to the Press Association of Jamaica. And I've had to say over and over to people, that is not the role of the PAJ. We're a members organization. We're a press freedom advocacy organization. We're not a regulatory body, which is what people have been calling for.
Mm-hmm. And this brings me to my next question, because this was one of the questions I wanted to put to you, Dionne, is whether or not the PAJ is looking towards that regulatory body coming out of this discussion that you might be having in terms of accountability.
Well, what the forum is certainly going to do is explore all the various issues. Now, the reality is that most governments in free democratic societies do not want to be responsible for imposing any kind of state regulation on the media for obvious reasons. It's hugely dangerous, leads to all kinds of abuses by the government. So the preference generally has been for some kind of self-regulation. When you talk about a self-regulatory body, though, the reality is that you are talking about an organization. Somebody's going to have to pay for it. Who is going to have to pay for it? It's going to have to be the media houses. The Media Association of Jamaica, and I'm not speaking for them, but just to say that their position consistently has been against this type of external regulatory body, and they're one of the speakers tomorrow, so they'll be able to explain their position. I wouldn't presume to try to do so. So the question really is then, have they changed their position? Why is it they hold that position? What are some of the models that have worked in other countries? And where does this leave Jamaica at this point in time?
Mm-hmm. And if you were to look back, Dionne Jackson Miller, at the National Journalism Week last year and coming forward to this year, what would you say would be some of the achievement that you have garnered so far?
One of the things we had set out to do deliberately was to expand our membership base, bring in a lot more younger members. In fact, we have done that. One of the things we had initially planned to do today, in fact, was to have a special pinning ceremony for new members because, if you're not bringing in new members, if you're not continually renewing the membership, an organization is going to die. But unfortunately, because of the uncertain weather, we had to cancel that. So we're going to put that off for another couple of months. That is really one of the major things we've been doing in terms of strengthening the base of the organization. We've also, as I'm sure you would have heard, we've continued to speak out on matters of national significance as it relates to press freedom issues, social media issues, and so on. And legislation, continue to look at legislation as it relates to freedom of the press and how it impacts on media practitioners.
And there's a forum tomorrow on the Popular Issues Forum focusing on who watches the watchdog. And I gather this will be at the Jamaica Pegasus at 6 p.m. Tell us a little bit about that.
Right, that's elaborating on the issues I mentioned there. We're going to have a speaker. It's sponsored by the U.S. Embassy. We have a speaker out of the United States who we expect to give a really good presentation because she has actually seen models of media regulation operate in other countries. They don't have a model that they think works well in the United States, but she's actually experienced similar organizations set up in other countries which have worked well. So she's expected to share that kind of multi-jurisdictional experience with us. We're going to be having Robert Morgan from the Office of the Prime Minister, Director of Communications, who, as many people know, is very, very outspoken on media issues. I'll be giving a perspective as a PAJ president. The Media Association of Jamaica will be there as well as UNESCO, which has consistently championed this issue of self-regulation.
And the idea is also to take this same forum to the Western parishes, correct?
Western as well as Mandeville, because what we find is that obviously not everybody can come into Kingston, and we find that these seminars really, there's so much good information there that we want to share with media practitioners as well as students outside of Kingston. So on the Tuesday, we're going to be taking it to Montego Bay, the Western campus of the University of the West Indies, and then Wednesday we'll be at the Northern Caribbean University. So we really do try to reach out to our media colleagues and students all across Jamaica in terms of sharing these kinds of very important issues with them.
And the PAJ at its annual luncheon, which is this Wednesday, will be honoring several media practitioners. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's something we're always very excited to do. It's always an excellent way to say to people who have been in the profession for years, we really appreciate what you do. We want to take a few hours to just come together as an industry and honor you. So this year we're going to be honoring Garfield Miles, who is editor at large of the Jamaica Observer. He's worked for years. He does a lot of work in southern and central Jamaica right now. We have Philip Green, who I know a lot of Kingston people don't know him, but Philip has been a photographer at the Western Mirror for years, and anybody from Western Jamaica knows that the Western Mirror is required reading. If you live in Mobay or Western Jamaica, trust me, you buy the Mirror before you buy Gleaner Observer. That's how important the Mirror is. So Philip has been working here for years in terms of chronicling life in Western Jamaica. We also have Jean Laurichin, who's been an Observer columnist for quite a while, and before that was in editorial at the Gleaner. She was the first editor of the Flair, in fact. She helped to create the very popular Flair magazine. And then Clinton McGregor of the RGR Group, who has been a staple in the courts, again, for years. And he's worked for decades in media at a number of media houses.
And then on Thursday, you're planning a courtesy call on the Minister of Information, Senator Rowley. What's really behind that?
Yeah, when we look back on previous weeks, we really never had any kind of formal interaction with the minister. So we built it in this year, and the minister, and then later in the morning as well, the opposition spokesperson on information, who is Natalie Nita as well. So it's an opportunity. Well, it's not just a photo op, but for us, it would certainly be a chance for us to raise some of the concerns that we have with them. One of the primary concerns that we have right now is the need to amend and reform the Access to Information Act, which came into effect about 13 years ago, was supposed to be amended and has never been amended. So that's something we've been pushing for several years, and that is certainly something we'll be raising with both the minister as well as Ms. Headley.
And then finally, the week is going to culminate with your cocktail dinner and awards ceremony on Saturday at the Courtly Auditorium.
On Saturday, but no, not a dinner. We changed it. For the last couple of years, we have not had a dinner. It's a much more fun event now. I mean, I find all the young people now, they're like, when is it? Because what we have, sure, it's cocktails before, but then it's the award show. No dinner, no guest speaker, nothing like that. Just a very fast-paced produced show with some entertainment, and then right after that we flow into the after party. So the cocktails are really fun. They're not staid or boring or anything like that. This is a chance where you find a lot of the young people as well as the older practitioners really meeting and mingling, and they're getting the chance to have that socializing in. So we have those which are sponsored as well by VM as well as Sagicor, and then Sagicor, the after party, I do beg your pardon. And the after party is always such fun. You all should really come.
All right. The other issue is that there are some new awards coming out this year. Best breaking news coverage and the award for the best radio feature. Give us a little insight as to why these new categories.
Yeah, every year we look at the list of awards and we tweak them based on what we think the industry is leaning to and really is important to the industry to be. So there are a couple of awards that we've suspended over the past couple of years, but their breaking news seemed to us to be one we wanted to introduce because it's really pivotal to how media houses first seize upon an important national story and then develop the story and really tell the story from a variety of perspectives and information. So that is a new one. So I'm interested to see what the winners are going to look like there. And then for radio now, and I tell you, I'm a radio person, and we have long felt that radio is almost like the orphan child of the awards. Radio people don't feel that their stuff can compete effectively with TV because TV is such a very strong visual medium. So this year, for the very first time, we have a separate award entirely for radio entrants. And I have to tell you, I have been so impressed and pleased with the number of entries we got in that category. Because you have a lot of radio people out there who are doing good work, but who said they're not bothering to enter because there's no point in going up in a category in which you have radio and TV.
Producers,
so
I think we're having something.
What's that?
Okay. I was not hearing the last part of your response.
Oh, I was just saying, yeah, you had a lot of radio people who had said they couldn't bother to enter if they're going up against TV. So carving out a separate category for radio this year really has brought out a lot of entries that I think really are worthy of commendation.
Mm-hmm. So overall, Dionne Jackson Miller, President of the Press Association of Jamaica, it is looking forward to be a really fantastic week.
We really think so. Going to be busy and hectic as usual, and we'll be running around until the very last. But when it's all over, we certainly hope we'll be looking back and said, yeah, we got, really got good, important, critical discussion of issues out there, as well as manage to enjoy ourselves and socialize and fraternize as well with our friends and colleagues at the same time. So we're hoping to accomplish all of that. We usually do, so, cross our fingers, everything will go well as well this time around.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that you wanted, Dionne Jackson, is to ensure that the PAJ had a more visible presence. Would you say, going forward, anything that you want to, any plans that you have in the pipeline, any additional ideas that you want to bring on board?
Well, in terms of a more visible presence, I think I can say we do have that. I think we're in the media now. We're active on social media as well. I think that's one of the things you're going to be seeing throughout this week. We're working with a couple of social media companies, so we expect to really make people aware of what it is we're doing. In terms of one of the things we're doing, we expect to be announcing, hopefully this week, that we're continuing our education grants for college students. We started that last year. We gave out 4 grants to 4 deserving college students. We're really pleased to be able to do that. And this year we've upped it, so we're going to be giving out 6. And for me, that is something that was so worthwhile because you have so many kids who are in college really working hard but struggling, and to be able to give them not necessarily a huge amount of money, $50,000 each, but hey, that can pay the rent for a month, that can buy some books, whatever it is, to help to get them, through that difficult period. So I'm very, very happy we're going to be working on that for the next couple of months until we announce the winners.
All right, Dionne, I'm going to take you a little bit out of Journalism Week because one of the things that I saw you spoke about on social media is the issue of internship. And I want to ask you, how important is the issue of internship in terms of persons who want to be in media?
Well, as far as I know, as you know, I work with the RGR group. And every summer we do get interns from two colleges. We get them from Caramac, we get them from Northern Caribbean. And as far as I know, that's an integral part of the course. You can't pass the course unless you do internship. I think it's an excellent way for them to get a sense of what it's really like working in a newsroom. And it's certainly an excellent way for us to see some of the young people who are going to be looking for jobs in another couple of months. And we certainly have hired a lot of people from internship. As a matter of fact, Archibald Gordon, who is our primetime news anchor, he was an intern and he was hired straight out of internship into the newsroom.
Dionne, can I thank you for having joined us this afternoon? Really appreciate talking to you every time we come to this point within Journalism Week, and we wish you all the best going forward and expect to hear more.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me as well.
All right, listeners, you heard her there. She's president of the Press Association of Jamaica, Dionne Jackson Miller, giving us a rundown as to what will be happening for National Journalism Week, which takes place starting today until next Saturday, December 2nd.